Hi guys, before I get into this video, I just want to let you be aware that I've recently done yet another buddy read with a fellow booktuber whose channel name is called Pygmy Puff Reads, although her real name is Aline. Hopefully I've said her name right. And the book that we have chosen to do a buddy read on is Mr. Begone by Clive Barker. So before I get into my review on the novel itself, I just want to let you be aware about Pygmy Puff Reads' channel and what kind of content she actually does. She does book reviews, book hauls, and a bunch of other stuff as well that's incredibly interesting, and she does vlogs as well, and she has a cute little dog which makes some cameos in her videos as well, so if you're a dog lover, that's a massive plus. So yeah, let's start off this video. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David, and if you are new here, hi, welcome. And if you have been watching my videos for a while now, welcome back. So the novel that I will be reviewing today is Mr. Begone by Clive Barker. I have done this as part of a buddy read and a collaboration with Pygmy Puff Reads. And this isn't the first Clive Barker novel that I have ever read before. I have read the Hellbound Heart, which had a movie based on it called Hellraiser. And based on that 100-page book, I became obsessed with Clive Barker's work, and I am determined to read everything that the guy has ever published and written. So as you can imagine, I was very excited to read yet another book by Clive Barker. So a little bit of background information about this book. It was published on the 27th of October 2007, and it's the genre of this novel is horror. And now a little bit about the author, Clive Barker. He is a British author, and he was born on the 5th of October 1952. He has also written horror and fantasy novels, but he is more well known to be a horror writer. He has also had two of his stories made into feature movies, them being Hellraiser and Candyman. And while I was doing my research for this video, I found out that Clive Barker was the artist behind the cover of Mr. Begone. So before I tell you guys what the story is all about, I just want to let you know that this is going to be a spoiler-free video. I'm not going to spoil anything about the story whatsoever, and also this is going to be my own personal thoughts and feelings regarding this book. So what's the story of Mr. Begone all about? First off, the book blatantly tells you to burn it as you begin to read it, and when you get into the story, you find out that there is a demon called Jacobok Botch, who is a demon. He is from hell, and he is somehow trapped within this book. And as he is talking to you, as the reader, personally, he's talking to you. As he's saying, as he's talking, all these words probably appear on the page, or I'm not sure. Maybe if he thinks the words, they appear on the page as well. But he tells you that I don't care what you do or how you do it, just find a flame or a fire of some sort and burn this book and put me out of my misery. I cannot hurt you, I can't do you any harm. Just burn this book and put me out of my misery. And he just pleads you to actually do this. And when you refuse to do this, he says to you, well, why aren't you doing this? I've actually asked you politely to do this and you haven't done it. And then he says, well, maybe it was my fault, maybe I shouldn't have told you that I'm a demon and I'm from hell. And he says, well, let me just satisfy your curiosity and tell you a little bit about my life, and then maybe you'll be satisfied and burn the book. So he tells you a little bit about his life in hell and about what hell is like, and his family life. He tells you about his father, more specifically, who's called Capygetnis, who has actually got a job in hell. Who knew that when you die, you've still got a job? I mean, I don't know if that's a massive plus or a negative. I'll let you be the judge on that. But Capygetnis is extremely vicious and mean. He tortures his wife, his children, and Jacobok as well. And we find out that Jacobok is extremely interested in forms of inventing different forms of torture that he can sell to corrupt kings and princes and humans on Earth, so they can build these new machines. And yeah, he writes all his thoughts and feelings, like all his dark feelings and hateful feelings in general, and towards his father, and all of his thoughts towards building these different machines into like notes. It's kind of like a diary. And when Pygmy Katniss finds out about this and discovers these papers, he burns them. And after this, Jacobog and his father get into a kind of a fight or a confrontation, where they ultimately get trapped in a magical net, which slowly pulls them towards the surface, or the world above, which is called the human world. When this is happening, Pygmy Katniss is very frightened about this happening. He begs Jacobog to set him free, and this results in, either accidentally or on purpose, I'm not sure which, probably a bit of both, Jacobog freeing his father. And I'm not sure if he dies, but he gets set on fire and he falls from a great height. I'm not sure whether you can die in hell if you're a demon or not, but it's implied that Pygmy Katniss died in this event. So Jacobog is trapped in this net, and he's being pulled towards the surface, where he is apprehended by a group of demon hunters who are led by a vicious, cruel, and not very nice guy called Cowley. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but that's probably the closest I can get it. Cowley doesn't have any resentment towards the demons that he is capturing. He's expecting like a massive muscular demon, and when he finds that he's got Jacobog, who is more of the runt of the litter, he's smaller, thinner, and not really that intimidating looking, he becomes a bit disappointed. But he says, well, we've captured this thing, let's just like be satisfied with it. And they put a like a massive metal box or crate over Jacobog's head, and it's kind of like a mask. I'm not sure if they do it because they are afraid that the demon might corrupt them by saying something or looking at them in a certain way, but that's what they do. We find out that the demon hunters are hunting demons, or Cowley's hunting demons, because they want to like sell parts of their body. They actually flay their demons' faces away, the skin on their faces, dry them, so they can put them up on people's walls as decoration or masks. And they also boil off their flesh, the demon's flesh, and chop it up, and they put it in types of stew and probably sell it in different towns and markets that they come across. Cowley also tells Jacobog about how he wants to flay off his skin until he's a skeleton, and how he's going to prop him up into a very menacing pose, and how he can sell him and for a profit. They're actually doing this for money. They don't think that demons have souls or they have any intelligence. They don't think they can speak or have a mind of their own. They think of them as just mindless animals that know better, that actually don't know any better. So when Jacobog is taken back to Cowley's camp and his base site, he discovers and sees a mysterious and very beautiful woman called Caroline, who is standing over a chopping block, chopping up demon meat. And Jacobog knows what this meat is. He's fully aware that it is demon flesh that this woman is cutting up, and this woman Caroline is bound to know what meat. What this meat is. She knows that it's demon flesh that she's cutting up, and she knows that Jacobog is a demon because she looks at him, and Jacobog is incredibly entranced by Caroline. He finds her beautiful beyond measure, and he instantly falls in love with her, kind of love at first sight. Even though she isn't ugly or scarred or any way, it's implied that her skin is perfect and she is beautiful like an angel. So after this, they have a little bit of an interaction, and shortly after that, they have a very steamy kissing scene. And I'm not just talking about a peck on the cheek here, guys. This is full tongue action that this human and this demon do with each other. And it can get a bit hot underneath the collar, no pun intended. And then after this happens, Jacobog feels that he needs to help Caroline escape from this life. And she says, well, how stupid do you think I am? I mean, does he look like that I need some help? And do you think that I want to escape? I'm happy where I am, basically. And he's kind of taken aback by this. And I won't say what he does to Caroline, but it's not very nice. Caroline doesn't, it doesn't end well for Caroline, I'll put it that way. And it's a very graphic and gory and what actually happens to her. So after this, as you can imagine, Cowley and his group of demon hunters are extremely upset about what's happened. And in the kind of commotion, Jacobog escapes and he runs away into the forest, and he tries to disguise himself by wearing different clothing and hats and like coats and clothes that he finds from a couple that it isn't said in the book, but basically they are having sex in the woods, and they are naked and they're laying on top of their clothes, and Jacobog tries to get their clothes without disturbing them or being noticed by them or even causing them any harm. But this doesn't end exactly how he intended it, but he ultimately manages to get a set of clothing which he uses as a disguise, because he's got two tails. He's actually not got one tail, he's actually got two tails that can like prop up over his head, and his face is all scarred and burned, and he's got horns as well. So he's like one of these people that sticks out like a sore thumb, so he wants to find some sort of disguise. And then as he goes along, we find out that he comes across different towns and villages. He gets into certain scrapes and all these situations that he gets himself into. He gets his ass kicked a lot for a demon, so he's actually not violent, he doesn't corrupt anyone's soul, he basically doesn't have any powers whatsoever on Earth, and he gets his ass kicked a lot by fellow humans and townspeople and villages and villagers and all that type of stuff. And it's kind of weird because he says that, oh, I'm a big, strong demon, you shouldn't mess with me because I'm evil incarnate, and I will corrupt your soul and I will torture you in all these horrible ways. And then I think it's just more words, really. I think it's just bravado that he's doing, and you're acting tough because he's the runt of the litter. And along his travels, as he's being pursued by a group of villagers, he comes across a magical sword which has a mind of its own. He actually holds this sword, and the sword has a consciousness, and it can move by itself while Jacobog is holding on to it. And that's more of a fantasy, and that can be like more of a fantasy type of touch or a new element towards the story as well. We find out that Jacobog has come across a demon, which I cannot remember his name, but this demon is very interested in going to different locations and towns and countries and witnessing and seeing different and new machines of torture. And you would think that Jacobog would be really interested in this. As he said, he had a massive interest towards this type of stuff, but he tends to not be bothered about it whatsoever. He tries to go along because he has a more of a kinship towards this demon, who is a male. It is implied that he loves this demon, but I think it's more of a brotherly love more than a romantic or love. And ultimately the story ends up with Jacobog finding this mysterious printing press, who the inventor is called Jonas Gutenberg's. And his printing press is a magical machine, and we find out that Jacobog discovers a secret meeting between heaven and hell. Angels are in this book, guys, and they aren't nice. They can be nice, but they can be vicious and very mean and violent at times. And Jacobog comes across his secret meetings between heaven and hell and demons and angels, and how they are sitting together trying to find out what to do with this magical machine, and rights for the publication between heaven and hell, and who should use it and when and where and all that type of stuff. And Jacobog is discovered in this, and as I said, it doesn't end well for Jacobog. So that's the main story of Mr. Begone. I've tried to be as vague as I possibly can, guys, so I hope you've enjoyed me talking about it. So let's go over to Pygmy Puff Reads now, where she'll be telling you guys a couple of the things that she liked about this book, and a couple of the things that she disliked about the book.
Hi guys, I am Aline from Pygmy Puff Reads. Thank you so much, David, for having me on his channel. I'm going to be talking about a couple of things that I really liked about Mr. Begone by Clive Barker, and a couple of things that I didn't love as much. The first thing that I really liked about the book is the consistency that the author keeps throughout the whole novel. When we first start reading, we're talking with this demon. He keeps that consistent throughout the whole book, so we're really getting his autobiography or his memoir from himself, and he goes to talk about to the reader, which is the second thing that I really loved. He keeps it consistent with having this demon talking to you, telling you to burn the book throughout this whole novel, but also the fact that he's addressing the reader, and when you're reading this you really feel like he's talking directly to you, is one of the things that really gives the element of horror and a little bit of goriness as well. So perfect read for Halloween and October for sure. I'm not gonna say that it was a bad book, but it has moments where I was just so done with this, because it is addressing you a lot, and that is one of the things that I didn't like. I could have had more of the story and a little bit less of him telling you to burn the book, because he's very consistent, but I feel like when you stretch that to, I feel like half of the book he's just talking about directly to the reader, and he's just telling you to burn the book. I wish we, instead of have that much talk and that much him trying to convince you, him telling more of the story. Like, I wanted to know more. One of the things that I didn't like. The other thing that I was not so sure about is that he goes into so much gory detail. I feel like sometimes it's not much horror, it's more goriness than anything else. So when you're reading these, it's sometimes very descriptive, and sometimes I don't feel like there's a need to be that descriptive. Like, instead of horror, it goes more into the gory side of things, and there's a lot of blood, a lot of description. Sometimes I was wondering, are you okay, Clive Barker? Because we don't need that much description about this, and I understand that it is a demon, so I guess what he was trying to do was add into the aspect of demons are evil and all of that, but we don't need that much descriptions. So those are the couple of things that I really like and that I didn't like so much about the book. So yes, back to you, David. Bye guys.
So guys, if you want to know what my likes and dislikes were for this novel, don't forget that you have to check out Aline's review video. I will put it down below in the description for you guys, so please check that out. So closing thoughts I have for Mr. Begone. This was a really enjoyable book for me, as this was the one of the full-fledged books I've read by Clive Barker, and this was extremely enjoyable to read. Never before have I come across a book where you are the main character of the book, and the book is talking to you personally from within the book itself, kind of like a narrator type of thing. So that was a very interesting thing to actually happen, and it was a very fun book, and I wouldn't mind reading it again. I would recommend this book to anyone, especially if you're trying to get into Clive Barker, or maybe you're wondering whether horror is going to be your type of thing. This is a very graphic book, guys. It does have a lot of blood and guts and gore, and it is horrible in most parts. And if you're very squeamish, I maybe would give this one a miss. But if you aren't bothered about that type of stuff, then this is a book for you to actually read. So the rating that I'm going to give Mr. Be Gone by Clive Barker is a 3.5 stars out of 5. This wasn't a terrible book, but it wasn't, I don't think this is one of his best books, but it was a really fun book, and that's all that really counts at the end of the day. I had fun with this. So I am going to give it a 3.5 stars out of 5. So that's my review on Mr. Be Gone, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a massive like down below. Comment down below, let me know what you thought of this video as a whole. If you have read this book, let me know if you liked it, if you disliked it. If you have read it, let me know what your feelings and thoughts are on about it. And let's have a discussion about it down below. As I always say, if we do talk about it down below, make sure that it's spoiler free, just in case anyone wants to read this book and they don't get spoiled within the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing as well. It always helps the channel grow. And I upload videos every Monday and Friday. If you do subscribe, please click on the little bell notification so you know whenever I upload videos. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, guys. Also, don't forget to check out Pygmy Puff Reads' channel. She is awesome. As I said at the start of this video, I will put a link down below. So don't forget to check her video out and her channel out. Subscribe to her, comment on all of her videos. She is extremely nice. She gets back to all of her comments. So please go straight over to her video after you finish with this one. And with all that said, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep reading. And I will see you all in my next video.